Melo's one-on-one interview with Stephen A. Smith on First Take this morning is the story of the day. During the conversation, Anthony made it clear that he still wants to play and he still has plenty to offer. Take a listen.
If you were on a basketball team, one of these championship contenders, what would we see from Carmelo Anthony?
Leadership in the locker room, on the court, on the bench, places that I've never had issues with before, right? This is what I bring to a team. On top of me being confident enough in my game to still be able to deliver something on the court.
Carmelo hasn't played in the NBA since November of last year. He said that winning a title is still his overall goal, but he just wants to play. So, Ramona, it was a very candid conversation he had with Stephen A. Did Melo help or hurt his chances at a comeback?
I actually think he helped his chances. He sounded humble. He sounded like he understood that he needed to play a certain role if he was going to get a shot in the NBA. I just, every time I think about where Melo might land, every time I think about the situation, I come back to two things. He could be at USA Basketball next week, right? This is the most decorated Olympian that we've had in the USA Basketball program. It doesn't seem like an invitation was forthcoming. There was a few talks, but it doesn't seem like that happened for a number of reasons. But it feels like a real missed opportunity. I mean, Landry Shamet is turning down invitations. Right. Why is Melo not there? I know it's about building for the future for USA Basketball. Maybe he's not a part of their future, but for somebody who's done as much for that basketball team and been as committed to USA Basketball, that would have been a great opportunity for him. The other opportunity, though, is his two best friends in the league who are still in the league, Chris Paul and LeBron James. It didn't work out with Chris Paul in Houston last year, and LeBron James had an opportunity if he wanted to put his foot down to say, I would like Melo on my team either last year or this year, and that hasn't happened. So I think that's fairly telling because of where he is in his career. That at some points you do need a friend to give you that opportunity or to push for you to have that, and so far that hasn't happened.
I think it helps him overall because he addressed the elephant in the room. As you said, he carried himself in a way that was, I recognize where I am right now. I'm not Carmelo Anthony superstar. I'm not the guy saying that I'm better than 60 or 70% of the league like my trainer did. I'm a guy saying, man, I just love playing. You find me in a gym every day anyway. Put an NBA jersey back on me, and I'm going to contribute to your team with the love of the game. Now, maybe some people won't like it because it's not the way things are really done. You don't kind of lobby for a job on national television. There's calls made by your agent to front offices around the league. But I don't think it will necessarily hurt him. What I want to know, though, we're talking about the Houston experiment gone wrong, and it's all about what Carmelo did wrong, how he didn't fit. What about the front office that spent the summer last year figuring out whether he's going to work or not, talked to Carmelo and his representatives, bring him in, and then Daryl Morey, after 10 games, according to Carmelo, says, hey, we don't need you anymore. It's not working out. What about that managerial style of Daryl Morey? I'm just very curious why there's not more talk about that approach by him.
I think this is the first time I've heard him say that it was not mutual, because at the time the reporting on this and the discussion on this was that they worked something out and there was a mutual conversation about this, that he understood it wasn't working out as well. But I'll bring it back to this, and this isn't just to defend Daryl or that managerial style, but Daryl Morey's not going to do anything without a sign-off from James Harden and Chris Paul. I mean, in a situation like this, on a player that they're as close to and as committed to as both of them had been.
Carmelo said he looked Chris Paul in the eye in his hotel room at 1 a.m, and Chris Paul said, I knew nothing about this.
Okay, wait, before we move on, let me ask you this. I think you do make an interesting point, Dave, because in those 10 games, and granted, that's a small sample size, okay? Over half his shots were three-point shots, which is what the Rockets would want in that scenario. But so I get where he's like, I'm doing what you're telling me to do, and it's not working out. But the numbers weren't great, right? Again, small sample size, but the numbers weren't great. Oklahoma City, the numbers weren't great. He wants to play. And he had talked to Stephen A. about, man, I can't be one of the top 9 guys in this rotation, was his conversation with Morey. So let me ask you this. Do you think he is a top 9 or 10 guy in a rotation, or is he now maybe a 13, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15th man on the roster? Like, where is he as far as his game's concerned?
So let's go back.
And is he willing
Tracy
to
McGrady, who's a host on this show
12
all
or
the
13th
time,
guy?
guest on this show. Tracy McGrady, do you remember him on the Spurs when they won a title?
Yes.
2014? You actually remember him? Because he was there and he didn't actually play in the finals. Like, he was on that team.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably what we're talking about with Carmelo right now is that he gets to be on the team. He'll maybe have a few games here and there where he'll contribute. But this is like maybe not even that Vince Carter role.
Right.
Maybe, like, is he that role? Like,
And I think that's the fair question because he told Stephen A. that I've internalized the idea of coming off the bench and I can do that.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.